Hello and thanks for staying with us. It's Political Platform live from Abuja, the nation's political capital. I am TV. But this morning, it is happening in Umuahia, in Abia State, where the Labour Party will be having their national convention. They held congresses. They'll be holding congresses over last week up to Saturday when they held the state congresses to elect new executives. So today we should be having that party electing their new executives. And just like what we saw with the PDP and the APC, most likely the national caretaker members will be returned as the authentic or elected national working committee members and executives of the party. Hopefully, after that, the party will now release its timetable for primaries for the 2027 election. So far, we're doing some form of research, and what we found is that only the PDP, yes, the one that is sympathetic to to the national leader of the party now, has released a primaries timetable for primaries along with the APC. For the other parties, the ADC, NDC, PRP, SDP, and all of that, they are still trying to work themselves out. But the INEC timetable is very clear. All the parties have just between now and I think May 30 or thereabout to conduct their primaries. Barely 1 month within which they will do that. But then yesterday, at the National Secretariat of the ruling APC, aspirants, their supporters were stranded for several hours, asking questions. How can we pay for nomination fee? Where can we get the nomination forms, and all of that? But much later in the day, the National Working Committee came out releasing some bank details where they can pay. But I'm not sure anybody got the nomination form yesterday. Perhaps today. But everybody that is contesting under the APC has just seven days in between now and May 7 to be able to get their nomination forms. Ditto the PDP. But the others will also see how it works. Another worrying issue will be the absence of female presidential aspirants, unlike what we saw in 2023. So we'll see. We'll have a guest in the studio who will be weighing in on that. Where are the women? Is it because the reserve CSB has not been passed that they are not coming forward? Is it the consensus that is pulling them back? What are the issues? And then endorsements across the country. We saw it in Lagos. We've seen it in several other states. My colleague Adebayo Bodun is joining me on the program this morning. He's also been monitoring the political activities and the temperature, as it were. So, what are you seeing?
Well, thank you, TV, and good morning to our listeners and to our viewers on the YouTube channel. You see, let me just add one information to the Labour Party. A member of the party in the House of Representatives, who is also the chairman of the Convention Committee, spoke yesterday, and he said they will not be part of the decision taken in Ibadan by the opposition group, and that they will take decisions at their convention today, and they will make it public. We wait to see the decision they will take, whether they will be feeding a presidential candidate, probably search for a new one, now that Peter Obi is with ADC, and he was in Ibadan. And yesterday, he led a team to hold discussions behind closed doors with the former president, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. And that's a confirmation of the fact that behind the scene moves, plotting, scheming are actually going on as the clock is ticking very fast towards January 2027. And for the APC, I can see that likely eruption of maybe conflict. Conflict is part of politics anyway.
Sure. Politics itself is conflict.
So the likely eruption of conflict in some states. In Adamawa, for instance, they said some group addressed a press conference in Abuja yesterday that they will not succumb to consensus approach, that everybody must there must be the choice of a governorship candidate in the state must be done through competition.
But that is not their decision.
Then in Lagos too, it seems as if the odds are favoring Olufemi Amsat, the deputy governor. And if you look at the Amsat family, it's like a dynasty. The father was a commissioner under Jackson in the Second Republic, and there were talks then that if Jakande had completed his second term,
8 years, yes,
that it will have been his father. So what his father failed to do is what he will probably do. But there is another member of the party who left PDP and member Jando is claiming that no, there must be full primary. Whether that will work or not, what we don't see, because the level of declaration of support for Olufemi Amsat, the deputy governor, is so very strong, and the way the pronouncements are being made from Gbajabi Amila, the chief of staff, the governor, the incumbent governor, and others, the language is clear that is going to be probably emerge as the consensus candidate.
He should have his say.
So, but the major crisis that I foresee in some states is this declaration that the governors should take charge, and they're actually taking charge. So they are going to determine the fate of many people.
That was a report yesterday that, in fact, some of the dailies are saying the governors have hijacked the nomination forms of the party. That was why nobody could have a copy. They pay for the nomination yesterday, could get any nomination. That the NWC had to have a meeting to find a way out of that, to say, okay, look, these are the details. That was anybody who wants a nomination form. Because the president, when they met with the president, he told them, he said, go and conduct the primaries in your state. And he also said that the governors should decide whether it will be consensus or direct primaries, and we all know which direction that will most probably take. The interesting thing is, for you to conduct the primaries, you must give INEC notice. I think it's about 14 days or 7 days or so notice, indicating the type of primary you want to conduct, whether it's a direct or consensus, and all of that. Give the adequate notice before, and all of this has to be done in the next 4 weeks.
Kebe, in 2006, when President Olusegun Obasanjo was in power, he empowered his governors He told them at a meeting, I've given you the power. I've empowered you. Let me use the appropriate word. I've empowered you to choose my successor. So, and eventually, one of the governors became his successor.
Were they the ones who chose the successor for him, or he chose it?
Well, maybe, but at least he said, "Go choose my successor for me." So it's the same thing that happened in 2006, where PDP governors then were empowered by Olusegun Obasanjo. It's the same thing we are seeing. So you see governors, assuming so much power, and they are being empowered purposely because the president will rely on them
to fund the electioneering.
Not only to fund the electioneering, but also to take control of their states and take control of their states in such a way that they will be able to help to have votes in their respective states. And it's not the first time. Even if you cast your mind back to the First Republic, the then national chairman of MPN at the Circular of blessed memory, Second Republic, he told the governors, you are the pillars upon which the presidential campaign will be conducted. So please take charge. So the governors, in a way, for every powerful person in the country have been empowering the governors in such a way that they assume so much power and they do dictate what will happen. I see the likelihood, I'm not saying it will happen, but the likelihood of the governors picking senatorial candidates, picking House of Rep candidates, and the State Assembly candidates, particularly for those of them who are angling for second term. They want to pick members of State Assembly in their respective states who will be loyal to them. So that's exactly what any contest where there is no competition. The essence of democracy is that it encourages competition. So when competition is removed, it has a big dent on the kind of democracy we are practicing in Nigeria. I'm not saying they should not adopt consensus because it's already in the Electoral Act, but when you totally remove competition of whatever form, we are putting a dent on democracy in our country.
The governors may have that deciding right, supposedly, in their political parties, but the people have the ultimate. We saw that in 2023. Governors that picked tickets, even in my own state, my own senatorial district, the governor got the ticket of his party as a senatorial, but he lost the elections. We saw governors in Enugu, in Abia, who lost senatorial elections, who lost even the presidential, could not deliver the presidential elections in their own states. Ebonyi State is part of it. The governor there, the person who was governor, who is the minister of works today, could not. In fact, his wife and the daughter voted a different presidential candidate, and he confessed it. He said so. They can have they say whatever in their own political parties, but one thing, just like you also mentioned, is once that happens and that discontent, there may be an implosion. There may be anti-party activities. What they succeeded in doing with the Electoral Act is, look, before now, if you don't get the ticket, you can defect to another party, quickly get the ticket and all of that. But with the Electoral Act,
block it.
You can't do that because your name has been submitted in a particular register to INEC in a particular party. So if you lose it, you can only do anti-party, support another person, or frustrate, the party, and all of that. But you cannot move to another party to possibly get the ticket. They even attempted to criminalize dual party membership, though only the House of Reps.
Before, if you look at Nasarawa, the two of their senatorial districts, a few days to election, the candidates could not get APC ticket. They left APC hurriedly and moved to SDP, and then they won the election.
Yes,
one of them has defected to APC.
In fact, he was endorsed before.
And today has been endorsed by the sitting governor as his preferred candidate to succeed him. So you can see one major thing that have been done is that our lawmakers, they take decisions sometimes that at the end of the day may affect many of them. And then when we come in after 2027, they'll be thinking of a new electoral act amendment.
Sure.
There was an amendment lawmaker did, which barred them from becoming delegates. From becoming delegates at conventions. They rush back, they remove it. Now, what they have done is that many of them who think they are favoring their party today, by the time they are shut out, they will now see the danger of it. So when you say you cannot have dual membership, and so you cannot defect from one party to the other on the eve of election for you, and you may still win the election on that new party if you are popular.
Sure.
Is that they have shut themselves out. I see the governors blocking those of them
who are disloyal.
And
this is a moment to test your loyalty.
So you will now,
your loyalty is in that.
They will now look around whether the decision we have taken is good or bad. They will also have a serious rethink about removing indirect primary.
Let's also look at briefly what the party, that is the APC, came up with a revised timetable yesterday. You may just gloss over it as one of those things, but I think there is something they are looking at. In their former timetable, they were supposed to start with the presidential primaries on May 15. Then they go to House of Reps, Senate, House of Assembly, governorship was last. In what they did yesterday, House of Reps is now first, followed by Senate, House of Assembly, governorship, and presidential primaries. What's the implication of this?
Well, they probably have their reason for doing that. It's internal affair of the political party,
yes,
and they have their freedom to do that. We cannot query them.
No, what I'm looking at is this:
they have their reasons, and it may be part of their own calculation in terms of I wouldn't know, maybe in terms of reducing friction. It may be to let them start from a lower level. And
the House of Reps is not lower, Senate is not lower. The lowest there is the House of Assembly. What I'm looking at is most probably this: that they want to do the National Assembly first, so that they will do the National Assembly first and get away with those who would most probably the governors and all of that would not have been in support. As it were, unlike what they had before, where they were going to do the presidential, first, and then followed by the National Assembly, down the ladder. Because most probably this will also put the governors on their toes. Because if it's direct primaries or whatever in a particular state, and I'm running for reps or senate and I don't get the ticket, I could most probably make sure that the governor is also affected in one way or the other by the support base from my own constituency, as it were. The governors, yes, and all of that, but they may not be. They are in control of the party structure. That is why the National Assembly took that away from them. Where the delegates, where you used to have the party executives, and delegates coming, but now there are no party executives. The way the governor has planted them and all of that is, if it's direct, then it's everybody in the party. And everybody in the party, the assembly members may most probably be closer to the people than the governors.
But I don't see that the powers of the governor will not withhold down in any way, whether it's the indirect primary or direct primary or whatever. They have handed over the party to them in their respective states. Go and ensure orderliness, pick the candidates and supervise it. That's the presidential order given to them, and it's a directive. So they are sticking to it. They are going to maximally use that directive to their own advantage. For example, in some states where some governors defected from other parties to APC, for instance, those who probably won election in 2023 and their APC members, there is no way a defecting governor will not want to favor his own party members in picking either House of Rep or senatorial.
It was, for some, it was part of the deal that when they defect, their people would have opportunity at the ticket, you know,
see?
and all of that.
So,
but we'll see how.
That's how I say it's something for to watch out with from state in the respective states. We watch out for what will happen in the respective states, and as reporters, we will report what we are going to hear, or what happened in the respective states.
For sure. We've talked about Labour Party, ADC, PDP, APC, and all of that. After now, we'll be talking to a female presidential aspirant in YPP. She will tell us why there are few of them, and we'll give them all the platform we have, the voices. We'll give them the voice to be able to, you know, put themselves forward at this particular point in time. We'll throw all our weight behind the women and ensure that they have a voice in the forthcoming election. I'm talking about
women belong to the group of the voiceless.
Yeah, so,
and they must be given a voice.
And so, and now we also have the women. That's why we're giving them the voice to read your mails. Before that, let's take a short break, a commercial, and then we'll get to the mails.
Welcome back to the mail segment. I'm Onoshirena Obozege.
And I am Onyemeche Adele. Welcome.
Our first mail is from Abuja here, sent in by Henry Ewununo. It says, please help me understand the hypocrisy on the line, the prohibition against aspiring contestants from defecting to another political party to actualize their ambitions. But we, the ones already voted as flag bearers of a party with the mandate of the people, jump ship almost immediately after swearing in or at any time during the 4-year term. Which of these two scenarios is more grievous? This is one of the provisions that need revision in the Electoral Act. Let us stop ridiculing our country.
And Clifford Aloze from Madela said, I am not a card-carrying member of any political party in Nigeria. I am a concerned Nigerian who wants good leaders irrespective of their political affiliations. Nigerians deserve the best because we have what it takes. Unfortunately, we have greedy stakeholders and shareholders as our leaders. Thanks be to God for the social media that quickly reminds us of their failed promises. Unlike Nigerians, the social media does not have short memory. I have totally forgotten that President Tinubu told Nigerians not to vote for him for the second tenure if he fails to give them constant light. Like Bob Marley, the great musician, said in one of his songs, you can fool some people sometimes, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. It is a matter of conscience and integrity. I advise Mr. President to strictly stand by his words.
Okay, from Abuja also is Emeka Umba. He highlights the insecurity events being reported in recent times from Benue to Kogi State. And then he says it is the same insecurity, sad commentary all over the country, but reported and not reported. While the government of the day is fixated on 2027 elections and deploying all manner of shenanigans, chasing opposition political parties all over the place with a bid to stopping them in their tracks until our security architecture embraces and massively deploys modern technology for surveillance in the fight against insecurity, we will keep repelling attacks instead of taking the fight to the insurgents.
And Anya Foxia from Sango Otan, Ogun State says another fresh loan of $516 million by Tinubu is becoming worrisome nowadays, going by the high debt profile currently on our neck and must be stopped. Where is the money saved from fuel subsidy removal? The reports have it that Nigeria's debt profile now under the current administration is over 159.5 trillion naira, with each citizen, including the innocent children, owing 724,000 naira by proportion. indebted to money I never chop. Please, what is the offense of being born as a Nigerian? Why are all our leaders, especially the APC government, between late Buhari and the Tinubu, borrowing recklessly to put Nigeria and the future generations at risk of slavery? Recall that APC took over from PDP with debt profile pegged at 11 trillion naira under 16 years. And now, APC in just 12 years have borrowed over 149.5 trillion naira. Today, late Buhari is not alive to pay back what he has borrowed to fund their lifestyles, and the burden is on the living. This must stop now. We cannot continue this way.
All right, we have more mails, but we have to run for time factor. Please continue to send them to politicalplatform@darkgroup.com.
Always a delight. We'll continue to engage your thoughts and opinions on the developments across the country. We now have joining us Her Excellency Ruby Chinenye, presidential aspirant for YPP. That is Young Progressives Party. You were in which of the parties last year?
No, same party.
The same party. Okay.
I've been faithful.
Yes. You have not defected like others. So it's nice having you on the program.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
This morning.
Thank you.
So we can confirm that you've thrown your hat again in the ring for the next election.
Yes.
Okay.
Confirmed.
You know, in the last 2023, we saw a number of female women as aspirants, even in the APC. In the APC now, no, but I'm not sure anybody will contest against against the president seeking the ticket. But in other parties, we're not seeing that, you know, and for some of us, it's worrisome. At the presidential level, we have seen a few at the House of Assembly. You know, not even the National Assembly are we seeing much to expect that, okay, more women will be coming into the National Assembly in the next elections. So what is holding the women back? Is it the consensus mode of primaries? Is it the nomination fees that is so high? I know that PDP says free funds for women. APC says women pay free expression of interest, but then you pay 50% of the nomination. So if you want to run for president as a woman in APC, you pay 50 million naira. If the president is paying 100 million, you pay 50 million. You know, so what actually is the problem?
Okay, coming from 2023, the primaries, if I remember very well, we had over 30 women.
Yes.
There were parties that they had 7, 5, you know, like that. The mass disappointment, and you know, when I say disappointment, not just disappointment that, oh, I lost. You can see that, look, it was unfair to most women. So of course that was a major factor that, you know, discouraged a lot of women. And then of course I saw a few that were, you know, coming up to say, oh, let me give it a try again. And then here comes the nomination fees. And then it's throwing a whole lot of them back again. So, but basically, I think I have good news for Nigeria. The good news is we are seeing that there are some underground work happening, because we, the women, we have decided to, let's form an ally. Let's form an ally. So we are building from the very, very bottom, putting ourselves. They are not in any party yet. Most of them are not. I am, you know, I've been a member of YPP.
Just declared
oh yes, of course. We have like the current Minister of State for Labor. She's actually, she has tendered her resignation, and then she'll be coming up. And then I think we have another lady. No, for presidency. Yes, she's running for. She's aspiring for presidency. And then another lady like that too, but that one for now, no party. Okay, but I know that presently from my end, the knowledge I have is there are about 500 women aspirants that are going to be coming in for, you know, the National Assembly, House of Assembly, governorship. Yes, at least 15 for governorship. It's never been heard. So in a few days from now, you are going to be, you know, hearing a whole lot of them coming out. But the basic part for them is, let us see a party that can be gender friendly to give us that opportunity and that platform to be able to do. And you know what?
Just in 30 seconds, because we're already running out of time.
Okay.
inclusivity and participation is a key component of democracy. Why is it a subject of agitation for women in Nigeria?
It's just been that mass marginalization. Women feel excluded. So what we are actually craving for now is not equality, it's equity. You understand? Let it be there. Okay, look at the National Assembly. How many women? You count 4. I mean, in a nation with over 50% voters that are women. You understand? So this time around, organizations are coming on, NGOs, like, let's be there for these women. Women are life givers. Any nation where you look at Namibia, look at what is happening. They've literally recovered their country back, driven out all the illegal miners and all, and then the country is recovering. So we need to understand that in Nigeria. You see, I felt every time we talk about this, when you were, discussing the first time, I was depressed for the first few seconds, because it's like Nigeria is under a siege. What is happening? Somebody is holding this country, to ransom. And then it's something we have to do something about.
We'll not just talk about the tickets. Let's give you 30 minutes. We're completely out of time, but in 30 seconds.
I wish there was 30 minutes.
30 seconds. In case you get the ticket of your party, what is the message you have for Nigerians?
It's women o'clock. That's the major message I have for Nigerians. It's women o'clock. All over the nation, from the local government to the states to the federal, women have to take those places. 30 seconds, I think I have 20 seconds.
If they take those places, what will they be doing?
It's to rebuild, is to set templates. That's what we need in Nigeria. We are dysfunctional. Things are upside down. We need to set templates. Like I always tell people when I go around, I tell them, look, what I'm coming to do is to reset. That even a time will come that a fool will be the president and he will still win. And he will still succeed. The system will be exactly. That's what other nations have. That was very relieving. And I tell you, over 1,000 women are listening to you now. That you are past that courage to them, to let them know as much as possible you would give them that opportunity, the platform to be heard. Thank you so much.
Definitely.
Thank you.
I hope to have you over and over again,
and
also have other aspirants. And when you eventually hopefully become candidates, we'll also bring you back to talk to Nigerians. That is Honorable Her Excellency Ruby Chinenye, presidential aspirant for the Young Progressives Party, YPP. And that is it on Political Platform this morning. I am TV saying stay out of trouble and continue to be a good citizen.